Jazzcast Pros.
Hey there, and thanks for tuning in to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Falicia Fracassi, and I am here today to talk about how you can successfully retire being a mom. You don't have to retire when you're 65 or even 55. If you plan out things properly, you can retire early because, the whole goal is to be able to get out of the game, the rat race. That's what this is all about. Everyone's working this 9 to 5 since they were, 16, 17, all the way up until they're 65. But what did you really do with your life? Is this really what you wanted for your life to work all these years? No, the answer is no. That's why you decided to open your own business. So we're going to get into that next. And as a mom and as a leader and entrepreneur, you have to be a wise manager of money.
Welcome back to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast with daily on-the-go episodes packed with testimonies and business tips to help you create financial freedom through entrepreneurship. Hosted by the owner of Fracassi Lashes and the Blow Dry Lounge, the Beauty Boss Millionaire herself, Falicia Fracassi.
The objective of today's episode is for working mothers, working parents to be able to get themselves out of the rat race and now into business. And what do you do once you started the business? Once the business is working, money is coming in, how are you preparing and saving for retirement? And how are you preparing and saving for things that your children need? Like, what is the plan? So we're going to quickly jump right into it. I want to talk about this because a lot of parents, they don't plan for their children's future sometimes because they're enjoying all that fast money, but there's no plan for long-term goals that they're going to need. Because one thing about running your own business is that you are able to create income for yourself at the rate that you want it. It depends on how much you put into it, how much you're working, what you're doing. But also the scary part about it is that your business could dry up at any point in time. They could end your contract. They could stop buying whatever you're selling. The trend could change. And even worse, something could happen where you can't work in your business. So I always say, while you're in your golden years, your streak of success, you need to be planning and preparing and making wise investments in case anything happens. Especially as a mother, it's important that you do this because we're the ones that always have to be prepared in case something happens. You don't want our family to be in a situation. And the rate of single mothers, unfortunately, is up. The rate of, moms being entrepreneurs, thank God, is up. And because of that, we have to be prepared. Now, obviously, if you're in a relationship, you have someone helping you out, I understand. It's a lot easier. But I'm speaking to the women that may not have help, or they may find themselves in the future in a situation where they're single. And even if you're just a parent in general and you're raising your child alone, it's important that you make smart choices while you're up. I always joke around and say, you're up, you're up, you're up. If you're up, you need to be putting that money up into an account or making a smart investment, because the number one thing that I see a lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of doing is they have a really good successful streak where the money's coming in, they've tapped into the vein of the business, the money flow is good, they're making X amount of dollars a month. They feel like, wow, I'm on top of the world. But they're not seeing that down the road, there could be some type of problems ahead. The market could change. Your business is now being outsourced. People are finding out how to do things cheaper. You're no longer in that vein anymore. And the money starts to dwindle away. This is the scary part for a lot of entrepreneurs. That's why I've always said the first thing you do is get your credit good, buy yourself a home, and start making some really good investments outside of your business. In case, God forbid, your business dries up, you have already planned ahead for that. And that's exactly what I did, how I was able to make money off of my previous work. I'm now in a comfortable place because I've made all of these provisions and I've given my energy. I've given really good, years and years and years of really good business when I was young. I had it together. I'm still young now. I'm acting like I'm some old lady, but early in your career when you're young, and I don't care what young means to you, could be 70 years old young. But my point is that when you still have the ability of your limbs, you're still able to move around, you're still be able to call the shots, you're able to make things happen. That's what I consider young in my head. You're able to operate a business. That means you're young. In those years of young and making that money, you need to have a savings plan. You need to have some type of real estate. You need to always diversify your portfolio, as people say, because you never know if something's going to go wrong. And I don't like to be in a position where I have to depend on the next thing. I've already prepared myself in case something happens. Even tomorrow, if there's a shutdown, I'm still okay. We already went to the first one. We went to the pandemic. There's whispers that there could be a second one. And a lot of people may not be prepared for that because they don't even have enough in their savings. And unfortunately, the situation that we're in now, where the government can say at any point in time, you're non-essential, you need to shut down. And I don't like being in a position like that. So I always have money saved up in the bank, and then I always have my money working for me. Those are two separate things. Money in the bank is one thing. I read on blogs where people are saying at some point you might want to take your money out because it's not good in the bank if they decide to close it like they did during the Great Depression. That's extreme, but you never know. You can never put anything past anyone. I don't even like putting money in the wrong person's hands, and you never know if someone may say tomorrow, I want to take all my accounts out. I don't think that's going to happen, but those are things just to think about. So you need to have, one, your money working for you in the bank, and two, your money working for you in some type of investment other than just something that's up and down. It needs to be something that's a long-term goal. It could be a real estate portfolio. It could be owning 2-3 homes, 1 home. You need to just make sure that you're comfortable in case, God forbid, something happens. And I don't mean just an apartment. I mean owning the property, owning a lease. It could be an apartment that you own, but it needs to be something that you own. No one can take it from you. You just need to pay the taxes on it. That's what I'm talking about. Because the first thing that most people struggle with right when they get out of, college or high school or at any point in time in their life, the majority of your income you're paying is for the rent. And if you can kind of get those costs down so that you have a home to secure, even if that requires for you to move to a place where it's cheaper to live, as long as you have your own, I'm happy for you, because I don't like ever being in a position where someone can kick me out of a place, or I have to find housing. The prices are going up because everyone, it's a supply and demand thing. So you never know what could happen next. And you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're renting your entire life, because that's just throwing away money. Everyone at this point should know this. And the second thing that I really want to speak on is, while you're in your golden years, your young years where you're making money, that could change in 5 years. That could change in 10 years. That could change in 2-3 years, because running your business, you never know what could happen. Even with a cell phone business, even back in the day when we all had, pagers, back in the day, everyone had a pager, beat me. Everything changed. Now people went to cell phones. Even with pictures, people all had the picture you take. You had to develop it go in the store, you wait 2-3 days for the developing. If you paid extra money, you got the over 24-hour developing. But my point is that industry is no longer here anymore. And so many people lost jobs because Kodak and all these Fuji, all these films were no longer in existence. Everyone's taking pictures on their phone. So a lot of people lost jobs behind that. And hopefully during those golden years, those young years, that they were able to put money away and buy that house, buy everything, because you never know when things are going to change. And probably because I live constantly in the state of being prepared and planning is probably why I've been the way I've been, why I can retire at the age I'm at in my 30s, because my entire life, since I was younger, I had to always worry about what was going to go wrong, because my entire life, when I was younger, from the age of 13 on, there was always something going wrong. So I kind of prepared myself to make sure if something goes wrong, it wouldn't affect me. And you should be doing the same. Now, I'm not saying you should be operating out of the state of emergency, running around panicking. I'm not saying that, because that's not what I do. But what I do as a leader and as a boss and as a person that has insight to the future, a thought leader, I like to kind of plan to make sure I'm okay. I like to be padded. So if one income goes tomorrow, one of my stores goes down, I got another store that's doing good. And if another situation goes bad with one of the properties, I got another property. And if all the properties go down, I got something else going on. I got a construction company. And if the construction company goes bad, I got the cleaning company. And if the cleaning company goes bad, I got my product with my lashes. I am telling you, I am padded in so many ways that I made sure that I'm stable, where if I go away and I don't work for a year, I'm okay. And I was just like you probably. I didn't have it all together back years ago. But when I realized how this world works, okay, rent is due every month. Okay, this is due every month. That's due every month. You got the kids. You got to worry about their college fund. I don't want to be in a position where I can't send my children to a better education because of the silly decisions and bad, wasteful decisions I made. I wanted to be a really wise steward over my money. And as a mom and as a leader and entrepreneur, you have to be a wise manager of money. Yes, I love fancy trips, but I don't take them all the time. I'm not going to blow money that's unnecessarily. If I don't have a savings and a college fund padded for my children, there are no trips. And my kids know I am very big on telling them what's going on with the household, the finances, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. So it's important that you understand that you are explaining this to the children. If they're old enough, if they're above the age of 5, 6, and 7, Tell them what you're doing. Tell them what you're saving for so they know. It's one of the most important things that you can do as a leader and you can't be an entrepreneur and you're not showing the children how to be an entrepreneur. I tell my children, well, look, right now, mommy is saving to fix my credit. I'll just make this scenario. Mommy's saving right now to fix my credit so I can get it up to like the highest level, 800, because I want to do X, Y, and Z. And then I show them the Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, the actual report so they see. I show them that they can't just go on Credit Karma to look at it. They have to look at an actual report. I show them all these things and what affects their credit, what affects them running a business, what stops them from getting loans, what happens if you pay late fees. Because my kids need to know this. They're at the age of 11 and 12. They need to know this because by time they turn, once kids turn 13, 14, they don't want to hear you. You're like the uncool parent. Even when you're 11, 10, 11, 12, they start to listen to you less and listen to their friends more, listen to the internet more, listen to whoever is influencing them at the time. So I try to teach them this stuff while they're young so they can be responsible. And I hate to say and brag on my children, but I'm very proud of them, who they've become, what they've become, how responsible they are, how they have money in the bank. And they know if I give them $50 tomorrow from working around the house, that they're going to split that money in half, and half immediately goes into savings and the rest they get to spend on whatever they want to spend, because they know that mommy does not play when it comes to being a good steward over your money, because I want them to be successful when they get older. And it's important that you show your kids what you're doing. It's important that you plan ahead, because sometimes, unfortunately, your partners may not plan the way you're going to plan, and it could be a conflict of interest in the house, but you have to do your best to have meetings to get that person on the same page so you can save and prepare in case something is to happen. You can still live off of the good years that you had. I hope all of this has helped. I really do, because I'm very passionate about not being in the rat race. And the rat race is simple. It's a race where you're the rat on the wheel, and God forbid if you get off the wheel, everything stops. But if you are a smart little rat, you actually plan on getting something going so that you don't have to be on the wheel exhausting yourself, or God forbid you get your little hand stuck, something happens, you can't work as efficiently like a lot of people do sometimes, and they can't produce revenue, or they're just simply not in the vein anymore. So just remember that this is really what you want to do to prepare and to be safe and to make sure things are working for your favor and your good and your future and the kids. Thanks for tuning in to Beauty Boss Millionaire.
That's it for today for the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. And don't forget to follow the Beauty Boss Millionaire, Falicia Fracassi, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Beauty Boss Millionaire.
Also, if these are really helpful, please review, rate, and share, or just send the link to someone who may need this. See you tomorrow.